Let's turn now to a tragedy that's been continuing to unfold in Texas as the death toll from catastrophic flooding now stands at 82 people. That includes 27 campers and counselors at a girls' summer camp. CTV's Scott Hurst has been following the latest as what seemingly now turned into a recovery effort continues. Scott, how have things been going?
Andrew, good morning. The death toll and the pictures that we're seeing coming out of Texas just devastating as the search and rescue and now recovery effort is entering its fourth day. Now, over the weekend, hundreds of first responders from more than a dozen agencies were able to rescue more than 1,000 people, but this effort is continuing with upwards of more than 41 people still unaccounted for. As you mentioned, the flooding already being blamed for 82 deaths in the region as the Guadalupe River running through central Texas was rising more than 8 meters in less than an hour early Friday morning. This is outside San Antonio, sending walls of water crashing over its banks, and survivors are recounting some of the harrowing stories, clinging to trees and branches, floating on debris, anything they could to keep their heads above water. And now, Andrew, to make matters worse, more storms are expected in the region over the next 24 to 48 hours, with more flood alerts in place in select locations, including some of the hardest hit areas, some of the areas already devastated by flooding, with a flood watch now in effect covering nearly 5 million people still as they're trying to search for any survivors and unfortunately now continuing the recovery effort, Andrew.
Well, Scott, there's been a lot of criticism, also a lot of politicizing of what's been going on in Texas, particularly looking at some of the recent cuts from the Trump administration and how the National Weather Service and the tracking of storms could have been impacted. Ultimately, there are questions whether things could have been done differently, but with this, let's call it a political storm surrounding an actual storm that it was a natural disaster, what has been really the conversation?
Andrew, the criticism is being leveled at officials at all levels of government, from local to county to state, all the way up to the White House, as you mentioned, with the recent cuts to the National Weather Service being made by the Trump administration. Texas officials are being blamed, are facing criticism over preparation on why residents and those at that summer camp were not alerted sooner or told to evacuate. The National Weather Service did send out a series of flash flood warnings in the early hours of Friday before issuing flash flood emergencies. But some officials have been increasingly critical of the response, saying the National Weather Service did not convey the severity of the storm's threat. Others are defending the Weather Forecasting Agency, which, as we had been mentioning, has been hit hard by cutbacks from the Trump administration. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem said over the weekend it was difficult for forecasters to present how severe this could be and how much rain would actually fall in such a short amount of time. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump has said he does plan to visit the flood zone later this week on Friday, and we're expecting an update from officials, Andrew, in less than an hour.
CTV Scott Hurst, thanks for breaking down what we know as we await for that next update. We appreciate you going through what is truly a tragedy unfolding.
Thanks, Andrew.